for me, when I listen to music, a lot of what determines if I like certain songs or artists or genres is the drums and the percussion, because that's what I play. So that's what my ears are more akin to and naturally want to key in on a little more. I think that like this can be applied to anything, but talking in percussion terms, like the more loose and just kind of going with the feel and like the swing to jazz, or to honestly more to like metal and rock, where it just kind of like ebbs and flows a little more. The tempo isn't necessarily so on the grid, and some people like that, and some people like the super strict like what would basically be like pop, and I mean like tech death and EDM, and the more like on the grid.
And most metal is pop music.
Very true. But then that like all those different genres and everything that have those different experiences and feelings to them.
Those subtle nuances.
Yeah. And then there's like mixes of those genres and like subgenres and stuff. And so this is a weird example, but one that I thought that's kind of funny is that new Falling in Reverse song, All My Life. Like, frontman for Falling in Reverse, little controversial, but that song with Jelly Roll, where it's literally just like country metal. So this is a very like extreme example. You can do a much more subtle example, but like if you like metal but don't like country, and you listen to songs like that where it combines the both, you start to get used to that feeling that country music gives off in those sections that are a little more country. So then when you go and listen to country music, now you have something to relate it to instead of having that like harsh juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm. Puts it in context a little bit.
Exactly.
It's like how part of my introduction to jazz was like post-hardcore and really technical metal, where they have little jazz breaks. And that's what taught me part of the appeal of jazz. And then I went back and started listening to jazz seriously, and now, okay.
That's what I was trying to say earlier when I was talking about the different feels of drumming and stuff. When I was looking for other examples besides jazz, that's what I was trying to think of, that kind of music.
And it helps, especially if this like piece of crossover music is faithful to both genres, if it's accurately representing what
exactly
listeners of both genres get out of this kind of music.
Yeah, not like songs in a certain genre, like imitating or mocking another genre. Songs where it truly is just two genres doing their thing side by side together. And that's when you get like a subgenre rather than just like impersonation of another genre, but it's still that genre.
I will say, going into it, I'm a Falling in Reverse, a Escape the Fate, a Ronnie Radican just kind of hater.
Certified.
Valid.
I am a certified hater. What can I say? I'm the biggest hater. I don't really listen to most of the stuff, so it's okay. I don't take any backlash personally. I don't have any credentials to really say why. It's just not my thing, which is actually a good point for this. But I was going to say, like, with the whole, like, Jelly Roll thing and the whole Ronnie Radkin, I'm going to say Radkin because I don't even care to learn his real name. Was it Ronnie Radke?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he used Jelly Roll and Tech Nine, has been sliding into the hip-hop place. He told Tech Nine to rewrite his verse, which Tech Nine has verbally said he doesn't rewrite verses, but he rewrote it for that one song that he did recently with him. I want to know where it goes into the issue of, like, where's the culture in it matter? And so, like, if you're talking about taste, like, you could have a taste that's like a American version of Chinese food. Like, in music, you can have a lot of that. But it's like, yeah, we all really like it. Even a lot of the people who originally consumed the original version still like this new version of food. It's just, does it have any purpose? There are other people doing things differently.
Yeah, I mean, that's also I was just using Falling in Reverse, and that Jelly Roll song is just like an example of the more singular representations of that kind of feeling, but there's also like the actual different subgenres. Like there are entire bands that just do country metal. Like that is a thing that you can go listen to. It's not just like specific to, oh, these two artists did a song together. There's whole genres there, and like going back to the metaphor of taste, I think that's the perfect description of like subgenres is like American Chinese and different combinations like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really gets me in that, unless Connor, you have something else to say.
I have a direct response to your
Big
question.
bet.
I think it largely has to do with how well you can combine the form of the two genres and the function. So it's very easy to combine the form of two genres.
Right.
This is like, you can do a metal cover of any kind of genre, like a metal song with a Latin break or a reggaeton drums in the middle.
I love Kim
Or a
Dracula.
cover of Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like the difference between like A-Bing back and forth between metal, country, and can you actually give me a blend of the two and not just going back and forth?
I love
Yeah.
Kim Dracula.
So how I would think of it is, what musical elements do metal listeners and country listeners both find attractive and get value out of? So it's one thing to put a country guitar in a metal song. You can even have it playing the whole time, and like that's all right. But I would be looking at, where does the spark behind metal and the spark behind country, where does that Venn diagram overlap? And I always find it helpful, because I'm a fucking nerd, dig back into the history of the genres and look at like the blues scale is kind of the basis of country and the basis of metal. And what's appealing about the blues scale?
The blue note.
Yep, right on it.
It's a combination of the simplicity and the blueness. It's the pentatonic scale, but then you add bends, you add dissonant notes, you add character. And in country, that manifests in a way that's a little more soulful. The dissonance, it's like speaking to, I don't know, something about tragedy, something about the experience of poor rural Southerners. And again, it helps to remember that originally black and white country music were not separate. It was the music industry that said there's a difference between country and blues.
Exactly.
And metal comes from the same place. And it uses those notes not for sadness, but a little more for like evil, for rebellion.
Anger, almost.
Yeah. So how can we articulate these feelings of sadness and these feelings of anger and use this blue note in a way that speaks to both audiences and is faithful to both cultures? Can I talk psychology?
Nah.
Please.
Nah, that's 2 votes no.
And guess what? I have control of the record button.
He can mute all of us.
We were talking about form and function, kind of what you get out of music. According to psychology, I mean, according to several different papers that have different results, but most people agree that there's some kind of in between. There's probably 3 broad reasons people listen to music. I think this is helpful for talking about taste. First one, it's described as either self-awareness or meaning, depending on the source. This is like listening to music, for the content of it, to reflect on yourself, on existence. This is like the high art, kind of, if you want to be intellectually stimulated. The next one that's equally common is mood regulation. And this is a lot more common in like, especially dance music. It also applies to like sad boy emo music. If you're listening to something because you want to feel a specific way, or you want to stop feeling a specific way.
Yeah. And I think it's not even just down to like the specific type of music. And I think it's also just how you yourself listen to music.
Exactly.
Like how there's some people, like, this is a conversation I've had with my girlfriend talking about it. When she listens to music, she listens a lot more and gets the like emotion and value out of music, like on like a first listen, from the lyrics and the words, like what's actually being said. Whereas for me, on my first listen to music, I'm almost not even going to hear the lyrics. My first listen's going to be pretty much solely like the drums and then some of the guitar. And then it's not till I go back and have more listens where I'll start to key in on more of the nuances of the guitar and the bass. And then after I listen to it even more, then I'm finally like, oh, whoa, that's what that one bar's been this entire time. And that's why, like, I can't really get into, like, country or pop or rap, where it is a lot more, well, certain country, like bluegrass and that kind of stuff excluded, where it is a lot more about the words and the lyrics and what's actually being said. So there's not as much focus on essentially the parts that I listen to more. So I think that's another reason why certain genres people just don't like as much, because those three genres, like country, pop, and rap, are the three genres that I probably listen to the least. I don't naturally draw to those because they focus on different elements of the music that I don't inherently listen to.
And this is also, even among genres, it's a subjective thing because, for instance, I'd say the biggest thing I get out of music is the mood regulation and the self-awareness / meaning. That's more like a after the fact. That's thinking about music, talking about music. But in the moment, it's all mood, it's all affect. And the genres that I am not as immediately drawn to, that has to do with the kinds of moods I like to feel. I don't dance. That's just not a thing I do.
No dance.
And so when I listen to EDM, I'm listening to that for self-awareness, for meaning. I'm trying to figure out what are the patterns in this music, what kinds of ways to move your body does this speak to, what sorts of ways is this pushing forward what a body can do. And that's more an intellectual exercise. I don't listen to EDM in my spare time often. And when I'm at a festival, I'll just be like paying attention to the artistry of it.
But it is Brat Summer.
Yes.
I thought that was a knife, but it's just a cardboard cutout. That looks like one. I was so happy for a second.